Now we come to our panel discussion and hear more about companies that are already doing business in China. And please welcome to my panel Elvin. He is founder and managing director of Wohlheit. Wohlheit sells healthy nutrition products and baby products in China. Welcome, Elvin. Please have a seat. Thank you. And welcome, Mathieu. He's from Unna. Unna is producing those very cool electronic scooters that you can see all around the city. And they work together with Chinese companies as well. And welcome to Li Win. She is founder and CEO of Trans Eurasia. She has been a journalist for 15 years, I think, and now she's a founder. Welcome to the stage. Please have a seat. And you already know Daniel. Please join us on the panel. And at first, I'd like to ask all of you to just please introduce your company and what you're doing. Just not with the China aspect at the first round, but with just what is your business model? What are you doing, Elvin?
My name is Elvin. I'm originally from Shanghai, so we talk a lot about Shanghai. So it's actually a very nice city. So before, I actually worked for Bosch for many years, so helping Bosch to sell and license the German technologies to Chinese car makers. Afterwards, I moved to Switzerland to study MBA in St. Gallen. And since I'm in Berlin, I'm now doing Wohlheit, which is a B2C marketplace model to offer Chinese consumers one touch point to buy authentic German products, such as nutrition products and baby products.
But your website is in German and in Chinese, so you also sell to German customers or Chinese customers only?
We actually only sell to Chinese customers. To have a German version is actually to give Chinese consumers the perception that it is authentic German products, because as we just mentioned, like German quality have a really high standard and the perception among Chinese consumers.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, so please, Mathieu, tell us about Unna.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here as well. So I'm from Unna. Unna, we founded the company 3 years ago out of China, out of an idea we had in China, because actually the electric mobility and the electric scooter industry in China is way bigger than in Germany at the moment. In Europe, there is electric scooter everywhere already. And one of our co-founder, Pascal, studied in China and was driving a scooter there, and when he came to Germany he was feeling very bad not having this electric scooter anymore. So out of that we decided to create our own electric scooter and sell it in Germany with three major USP. Basically, we are a very user-friendly to use electric scooter with a concept of portable battery that you can charge everywhere. You don't need charging station. The second aspect is the customization of the product. You can fully customize the scooter with different colors, different motor power, and choose if you want 1 or 2 battery. And the last aspect, and not the least, this is the price. We are the most affordable electric scooter on the market at the moment. And how much is it? We're starting at 1,700 euro, and now we did that.
It's a bike.
Yeah, I guess your first feeling will be, yeah, it's a Chinese electric scooter they're producing in China and it's cheap. This is actually not the reason why we can start at this price. Actually, all our competitors, all Chinese scooter, all electric scooter at the moment are built in China, but we can sell it for half the price of our competitor, because of a very, and I like to say, this is the major innovation of our business. This is our business model, not the product itself, because everything starts with our customers that purchase the scooter online. So we do direct sales online for a vehicle, which is not really common at the moment. You completely customize it as you would customize your clothes or everything. We produce on demand in China, and we drop ship it from our factory in China to Germany with a completely integrated logistic chain, without any stop, without any stock. And because we deleted all these middlemen in the automotive industry, meaning the car dealers that take 20% to 30% margin, because we deleted all the costs on stock and insurances on stocked items, we managed to offer an electric scooter for the price that it actually should cost, and not paying for all these middlemen in the business model, basically.
One question at this point, because Roman told us that he can deliver within 10 working days. Well, that's not the case when you ship things. But how long do I have to wait after customizing my scooter and then getting it from China? Because the shipping, that is a very
absolutely. So
topic.
because of this model and because we produce on demand and directly ship to it, and at the moment we decided to ship per sea freight and not per air freight, like Roman mentioned. So right now we have a delivery time of 8 weeks with this model. And for a few, let's say, most popular model, now that we are on the market since almost 2 years, we know that a few models are like always sold. Now we take also this risk of like pre-producing and like reducing this lead time for our customers, but always with this logistic chain in one shot, and we're not stocking items here in Germany, basically.
Okay, so what is your business?
I mean, I started my company, consultancy firm, 2 years ago, and mostly focusing on bridging the startup scene between China and Germany. I mean Berlin, basically. So, but before that, I have my own startup actually back home. It's a kind of media cultural space combined bookstore combined business, and it's already 10 years, and it's a very famous brand already in China. And I've been mostly in new media sector. And for the past 2 years, what I've been doing is trying to bring Chinese investors here, because I see that Berlin is actually still short of cash in many ways. And Chinese investors are actually slowly changing their mindset and trying to invest in companies in different, put their eggs in different baskets. And Berlin now is moving into their vision, but not yet in the center. So this is basically what I do. I drag their attention here. I bring delegations here and show them around and introduce Berlin's startup scene to them, and make a few deals here and there as a beginning. Yeah.
That's very interesting. What are the Chinese investors focusing on? What are they interested in? Because Daniel, he said it is in Industry 4.0, it is 3D printing. Is this what they are looking for?
It's highly unpredictable, but when it comes to, if you talk about general terms, like in general terms, they are looking for, of course, the heavy machines, whatever. The Chinese investors so far are mostly focusing on traditional manufacturing, industrial technology. But for startups, they are still inheriting this kind of idea that's when it comes to internet-related business, German startups are not worth looking at. But they look for new technologies relating to Industry 4.0. It's a learning process. It's really a learning curve right now, just starting. That they are starting to realize that Industry 4.0 actually means internet. That everything has to do with internet, IoT is, everything related to that. So, and they start to see the vibrant scenes here. So they are opening up their mind. But initially, when they come, they always look for, like even material engineering, anything has to do with heavy machine robots and etc. Yeah.
How much money are we talking about? Are they because we just heard that in China everything is bigger and faster. So is there really a lot of money coming in now from China to?
No, it depends on how people like me are working or tackled. Actually, it really is. We are like the heroes in this field. Not many people are doing this yet to drag their attention here to really show them the potential. And I have to say, with certain degree of disappointment that Berlin government or a German government has not been doing a successful job in promoting the startup potentials in China. So when you think about Germany, it's dentist, it's very strange, dentist, heavy machines, and of course we have, very good, cars, of course, that's for sure. But then you now have also Chinese cars coming up as competitor and etc. So it's really still the image of Germany right now in China is still quite outdated. So we are in a changing time. It's very much depending on people in this field who are doing this job like ours, how to do that. Yeah.
Okay, Arvin, are any Chinese investors also interested in your business because you're going the other way around? And as you all said, German products are very popular, so this might be interesting for Chinese investors.
Mm. I would agree with her perception that Chinese investors mostly consider the German market more like Industry 4.0, like machine kind of things. That's why we've already seen like companies like investors like high-tech Gründer Fund in Germany. They cooperate with some Chinese company and to help their Industry 4.0 companies to move to Asia. And in terms of this kind of digital online business, I would think Chinese investors are less likely to look at that. They more first look at big data, like Internet of Things, this kind of things. But on the other side, since we are based in the Project A Ventures office, we've also see like more and more Chinese investors. They are actually, when they look to Europe, they first start to look into Berlin. But like they first think of Tel Aviv, other areas, then when they want to have another location, they would come to Berlin and talk to investors like Project A Ventures to want to participate as an LP or in some other senses to invest in some early stage companies, but more into the B2B kind of startup.
So Mathieu, how did you find your Chinese partners then? Do you have to have a partner, or can you do the business just on contracts? And yeah, how did you find your partners?
It's actually a very funny story. So basically, I always started the company. As you know, so we're producing and selling this electric scooter. But as this electric scooter, we actually didn't build it here from our German office and like let's say the proper German automotive engineering way, and then go back to China and say, okay, produce that. No, we did that completely differently. Actually, we first booked a ticket to China. We went there, and then we said, okay, what we do now? We have to build an electric scooter, but we're gonna do that on the field. It was just a hands-on experience. So first of all, it was clear for us that we were just three guys, and we didn't have like money at all. So in the beginning, we just started a company with $100,000 euros that we got from a business angel in Munich. Let's say, okay, go guy, like start your project. But as you can imagine, you cannot really start an automotive company with 100,000 euros. So we had to find a smarter way to build this product, and we decided to start with an existing model and more like disassemble it and reassemble it to transform it into another product. So we actually started with a petrol scooter that was already sold in the Chinese market, and we say, okay, we like it, we like the shape, we like a lot of things on it, but we want to turn it into an electric scooter first, and there is a lot of parts that don't reach the level of quality that we were expecting. So basically, this is what we did, and once we have found a model that we like, we looked on Alibaba, all companies selling this model at the moment, and there were like a lot. And then we did like kind of a pyramid in the communication. Basically, we contacted them all, say, okay, who we are, what we want to do. Like out of, I don't know, maybe like 50 companies that we contacted, 20 entered. 10 of them I could understand the email, that was like still proper English. And out of them, like after a few weeks of like on and on communication, we end up with like 2 companies that looked solid, and it was like worth meeting, and they seems to be interested in the project. Luckily for us, the 2 were based in the same city called Taizhou in the Zhejiang province. So it's 4 hours in the south from Shanghai. And so we've been there, booked an hotel room, and then met these 2 companies and start working on a product simultaneously with these 2 companies. Every day going in one company, the other day in the other company, not explaining why we cannot come the day after, because we were working with the other one. Yeah. And after 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks, it was not sustainable anymore to imagine a lie every day why we cannot come tomorrow. So we had to choose one, and we decided on one partner and say, okay, we're gonna build this scooter with you. and this is still the same partner we're working with. A lot of things have happened and, since this day and until now. We've been building this scooter together. We've been they opened a completely new factory, and we've helped them to build this new factory and this production line for our scooter, because we've been very lucky, I would say.
So it is not only made in China, but it is also designed in China then?
Yes, exactly. All the parts have been designed in China. All the 100% of the parts at the moment in the scooter are coming from Chinese manufacturer, and everything has been designed in China with this Chinese partner and their partner. So basically, in Unna, and it's not just about product development, we have a very strong motto in everything we do, and I think this is very common in all this new economy and new startups that you see successful at the moment. We really don't try to reinvent the wheel, but use or leverage what is already on the market, and this is what we did with this product. We took a product already existing, parts already existing, and we built a new product out of it, basically. And here, this is what we did in China. There were an experienced motorcycle or scooter manufacturer. They knew how to do it. We didn't know that much. Then they had their own network of suppliers providing parts, and so we work with them in China, meeting the people. Say, okay, today we work on tires. Okay, then let's go meet 5 tire suppliers. Then all the people, and then you're doing, you're running errands here. You're going to the market, buying carrots and fruits. Then you go in China and you buy tires and front brakes, and then you source your parts like this, really hands-on, and you meet the people, you build a relationship, you get the product on hand, and this is the way we build this product, really, really hands-on.
You mentioned that, I as a customer would order it you would build it on demand. How about all the technology they have for communicating with you and being able to have all these processes that you need?
Very, very, very limited technology at the moment when it comes to this information transfer. Meaning, they have technology when it comes to the manufacturing. They have a proper manufacturing line, even if there is still a lot of work being done by hand and not that much robotic and with the partner we're working with. But basically, when it comes to this information transfer, it's pretty. How can I say, pretty simple level. But we did the work. We realized that very, very soon that actually it's not gonna work the way we think it's gonna work, and then we have to adapt. And therefore, we need to, for example, the way we do a purchase order, I would say, for example, we say, okay, we need to produce 100 scooters this week. It's not us saying yeah, I made my super nice template, beautiful out of my ERP program, just use it. No, you have to start the other way around again. You say you, my Chinese partner, what's your purchase order template? If you get it, you say, okay, that's pretty chaotic. I don't want to work with that, but actually you have to, and we build our system or we build our organization to match their existing way of working, to match their existing processes. We try to understand their ERP and adapt to their system, because to try to push your own world is not gonna work, and you're just gonna run into a fight. And when you're just starting a business, you don't want to run a fight with your partner. You have to adapt.
So, what is, in your opinion, what are the biggest mistakes European companies do when they go to China?
When it comes to German companies, I can say that German big companies, because startups are not yet on a wide scale there. Traditional companies are always making the mistakes of not trusting local staffs and not adaptive enough to the local market. There are lots of things. I mean, of course, all these details, all these books about business disaster of international companies in China that tells that. But I think, generally speaking, German companies are less trusting when it comes to localize the local management team. Hiring really local talent and allow them to operate in a Chinese way.
Is there a reason why they do that, or is that just
I think,
stupid?
I mean, there is a substantial, very important reason. For example, they don't want to tread on, don't want to tread on the gray zone of legal situation. In legal situation, for example, I think was that Siemens was caught with bribing Chinese officials or state-owned companies over there in China. So, but then certain kind of lubricant is necessary. The kind of money you need to allocate for inviting people to meals is highly inefficient, but it's totally necessary. And the other thing, of course, is this kind of inflexibility with price. When we talk about price competition, nobody can compete with the Chinese, but sometimes if you lower the price a little bit, if you give the room for bargaining, then people would have better feelings about this.
So bargaining is a very big point then.
It's a very big point. Yeah, if you say, okay, of course there are a few kind of like really high-tech stuff that you can say, okay, we don't lower it. But, you know, even the fast-speed train in China consists of all these parts from different international companies, and they basically gave out the patent for free because they simply thought this would lead them into Chinese market, but it didn't work out in the end. The Chinese simply copy every part and put it together and make their own. So it's a tough market, of course. So you cannot possibly expect that the same way that worked around the world will work in China. Even if it worked in probably Indonesia, it probably won't work in China because the competition is much more fierce. So in this sense, I think one thing is, of course, if you want to enter Chinese market, one thing you have to really emotionally accept is that everything can happen there. And you really need to trust the local talent. You find a trustworthy local talent and trust their information that they feed you. And really make decisions together instead of a kind of top-down mentality. If you look at Siemens home electric appliances, they took them 10 years to become profitable in China. Miele is in China for how many years? 6 years, and they are totally failing. And etc. All these cases have shown that such.
Is there? Can you give an advice how you can find trustful local staff? Is there a king's way to do that?
One tendency of course, international company when they go into China, initially in 1980s and 90s. They had lots of Hong Kongese and Taiwanese who were educated abroad that helped them to enter Chinese market. But at that time, the local competition is not so fierce. So it worked for many companies. And nowadays, of course, they all shifted to look for local Chinese who were educated abroad and came back. But I think one thing is really, really important. If we talk about big international companies, you really have to hire someone who really worked there for more than 5 years. That's really necessary back in China. No, even if they were working in the US for a long time, they go back to China, maybe they just fail. That happens all the time. And for Chinese, for the startups, of course, it has a lot to do with luck, because you cannot possibly imagine hiring some high management from big companies to work with you unless they happen to want to set up the same startup like yours. So it has a lot really have to do with local network, people who you can trust, introducing you to people who can trust.
So you just buy an airplane ticket and go there and...
No. I mean, of course, you go there, people are very friendly, you know, they still try to pay for the meal whenever they invite you and etc. But to find reliable business partner is always something that takes a lot of chemistry, let's put it this way. I mean, there are smart, intelligent people there who can work on an international level, but they might not want to work with you. So this kind of really like submerge yourself with the Chinese circle is super important, and it probably takes a bit of time, that you have to invest in time, networking and etc. before you can really find this. It's really like marriage. Yeah.
So you told us that you've been working with Bosch. So to your opinion, what are the biggest mistakes German companies do when they think about doing business in China?
I think at that time, what the biggest problem was that the Germans tend to stick to their original way of doing, even if they already entered the Chinese market and want to do business with Chinese partners. And one of the things what we did wrong was also like quotation pricing. We always tend to, Bosch always say, we have this kind of price, we always give fair price, but we have to convince our German colleagues, you have to have buffer for the Chinese customer to negotiate, to do all these kind of things. And the other side, when we at that time was discussing a kind of transmission technology transfer from Bosch to the Chinese companies, and one of the difficult part to finally to close the deal was that we always get stuck into closing the deal. And eventually we made a breakthrough is in the way that there was a board member from Bosch coming to visit
and eat.
Yeah, visit during the automotive show in Beijing, and we intended to like arrange this kind of high-level meeting to just let them like sign a kind of letter of intent and then use that as a way and method to influence the responsible person for that project to push that forward within the company, within the Chinese company.
Is that also true with startups then?
The startup, I would think less so, because startup is more quicker, but in startup, I would think it's more important, like our business is kind of B2C, so we do lots of online marketing. It's quite important to be aware of the legislation and the legal related thing, because you know lots of things that Germans do here in Germany, like performance marketing on Google, search on Google, which is all not possible in China. So when you do this kind of online marketing in the Chinese market, you have to obey the Chinese legal laws, while most of this kind of Baidu or Tencent or Weibo, they all have their set of rules to first verify your business as a foreign business to be able to start your campaign. And these are the difficult part for foreign companies to manage.
So Mathieu, the first person you hired in China was a lawyer then, or how does that work? Do you prepare for the rules and how to make business in China? You need a lawyer then there?
Actually, no. We I don't know if it's too naive or it's just like worked out, but we didn't care much about this legal aspect in the beginning. We just did, and this is what Roman mentioned before. Like it's at the end, things go very fast in China, and you define what you want. You get your partner. You're working on something, and everything is moving very fast. Sometimes even faster that you can handle. And then after a couple of months, you have a product ready, and you're launching here in Berlin. And all happened very, very quickly without us thinking about, okay, do we match the legal requirement of China when it comes to manufacturing of a scooter? We didn't even ask ourselves this type of questions. So no, to answer your question specifically, no, we didn't care about, let's say, legal framework around this product.
Okay. So you all mentioned Alibaba, Baidu, and Tencent. Yes. How is it working with those companies? Do you come around them, or you always have to work with them? Because when we think of working together with Google and Apple, they make the rules, and you don't have any decisions to make. They set the rules. Is that the same in China, and how is it working with those big three companies?
If you want to work with this Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent, it's always very important to obey their rules, because, for example, when we do search or display marketing on Baidu, we have to follow their rules to have our entity verified. Like, you have to go with a Baidu agency in Europe, and you pay some fee to verify your entity, and they set up the account for you. And then when you want to run the campaign, you have to prepay the money into that account, and you have to let this agent of Baidu to do the currency conversion from euro to Chinese yuan for you. So you always have to follow their rules if you want to promote via them.
So, but you told just they have their agencies here. So the first contact you do is going to a place in Europe to get contact with those three. Yes.
Yes. So because they only work with agencies, they have accredited agencies. So if as a foreign business, if you want to promote, do online marketing in China via Baidu, you have to go via their agency to open this kind of account to be able to promote. Same with Alibaba. If you want to list your products on the Alibaba Tmall shop, then you have to verify your foreign business. You also have to pay certain amount of high deposit in case there were like quality issues and this kind of thing, they will use the deposit to deduct those money. And they also require, if as a foreign business you want to list on Tmall, then you must also have a localized after-sales service team in China. So these are the requirements to working with these kind of big internet companies in China.
So what would you say are the biggest hurdles for small European companies like startups to going into China? Is that the legal questions you were talking about, the mentality, maybe also customs, which might be a case for you, or non-tariff barriers? What are the biggest hurdles?
I think before, like when we see in Europe, for example, for the B2C business that I'm in, the biggest hurdle was like delivery time is really long. The B2C from Germany to China takes 3 weeks, or sometimes it comes to 1 month. But on the other side, for example, US, they have a very good logistics system in the B2C, and goods can arrive on the Chinese consumer's hand within 5 days. And these are the hurdles facing B2C business in Europe. But now we've seen things are gradually changing. There are more and more like logistic business like DHL and Hermes. They see this kind of cross-border potential, and they launched like dedicated direct-to-China program. So they work with the local Chinese partners to fasten this kind of speed. So on one side, I think the hurdles is logistic for B2C business, and on the other side is also the kind of like doing the marketing. And for B2C business, having the right online marketing strategy, that's quite important. As a B2B business, if you want to go to China, I think you also need to select very carefully with the right Chinese partners. Because oftentimes, as a B2B business, I also see that foreign companies tend to find one Chinese company as their agency or distributor and give them exclusivity immediately to be responsible for sales all over China. But China is such a huge country, and it's always better to like divide by region, and you have agencies by different region, and you test before you give out your exclusivity.
Okay, what were the biggest hurdles for you? Did you have any? I mean, this all sounds so very simple. Like,
no,
I would go there.
It was not simple, actually. the last 3 years of my life are just a nightmare,
well,
but a very fun nightmare.
Very simple.
A very fun nightmare, I would say it like that. Even now, we are since already like almost 2 years, I say that we are selling this scooter and manufacturing it. Every week is something new happening. So this, I wouldn't tell you the hurdle are like very specific item and say it, for example, logistic or whatever. Actually, 1 week is logistic. The week after is going to be a supply chain. The week after is going to be some workers that went to certain holidays that you were not planning, but you never heard of that holiday. But suddenly this year there is a specific thing happening. There is always something, and this is what I would say. This is not a hurdle, but it's like what makes working with China very interesting, but in the same time very challenging, is that you always have to constantly adapt and constantly come up with solutions. The solution is not you cannot because the problem is always moving, the solution has to move. It's not always, okay, we understood what we're doing, we have everything mapped, our processes are there, and then it's gonna work. No, actually, your process gonna work for 2 weeks, and after that, there will something new happening. So you always have to adapt your process, adapt to the people, adapt to the situation. And I guess this is really general for all startups, but when you're working with China, I have the impression it tends to
Be more
to
complicated.
last or to be bigger.
But do you exchange people from there and here and there? So let you come people from China to, well, to visit your office and to learn about the market here?
Absolutely. Like not on a very frequent basis, I have to admit. But as I mentioned, all our business and all our organization, what we call Unna at the end, is not just this company, this startup in Berlin. It's really this network and different company working together. And we really consider ourselves as this platform managing all these partners coming from manufacturing, quality control, logistics. We don't run all that by ourselves. We don't own our manufacturing factory. We don't own our logistic. We're working with partners, and this is very important that these partners understand who you are, and we didn't try to hide ourselves that we're like this small young company from Berlin and not Bosch or BMW. And therefore, they have to understand where you aiming at and who you are. And therefore, we're very close from our partner and like bring our Chinese partner, be it the manufacturing, the quality control, or the people from logistic. We're working with DHL at the moment to come here to meet us here in Berlin and understand what's our market also.
But you're not working with the startup there. So this is a very traditional Chinese.
We are the startup. We're working only with a lot of big companies actually in our network, and this is why we leverage what these big companies have to bring all that together and making an appealing product for our customers. Yeah.
Okay, as we're running out of time, I would like to open the last round, but please with a very short answer. But the question is, why it is so great to work with this China? What is the fun? What is the good part of it? I mean, why would you recommend all of these people to work with Chinese partners or to go into the Chinese market?
I think because China is such a huge market, if you see the market potential, if you can tap a certain part of the Chinese business, then it is a very big potential for you. And finding the right partners for you to go to the Chinese market, then you will see limitless potential.
Thank you.
For me, I would say speed. This is really, I guess it's not just in our industry, but like the whole startup industry is based on speed. Our society and innovation is going at a pace that we never faced before. And I have the impression, or like the strong opinion, that the way we do, for example, product development or we build B2C business in Europe are like way too slow. And if you want to be one of these leading business in the future, you better adapt to the speed of the Chinese. And working with Chinese, you can benefit a lot from what they're doing, the way they work, and it's very execution oriented. And you should do that because, yeah, speed is in China, basically.
Yeah, and I would like go with everything you just said. I totally agree. And I would add maybe another thing. So there is always the opportunity to try out things, right, which are maybe not doable in European markets, right? And if they are going to happen, they happen fast. So you have to work hard, but if it's going to work, it goes fast. And this is pretty much interesting and all about the speed, right, you just mentioned.
I think big markets and big investment, of course. I mean, there's lots of cash flowing around in China, that's one thing. But I think the most important thing, on top of the speed, China is an extremely innovative place to be when it comes to business operation. And you can really learn a lot of unimaginable ways to do business in China, simply because there are 1.3 billion people over there competing for livelihood, and the innovation is just unimaginable, the way that they can create different methods to do business in such a really unpredictable environment and highly adaptive. And I think if you can survive there, basically you can survive everywhere else in the world.
Okay, thank you very much. So a round of applause, please, for panelists. So thank you all. Thank you very much for the audience. I think it was very interesting discussion. Thank you to TechCode for bringing this idea up for this conference. And well, I invite you they invite you to network. We have snacks and drinks, and we will be having the semi-finals. And last word is a big thank you to my team. Sven, especially, without him, this evening would not have been possible. Thank you very much, Sven. Applause, please. And thank you to the rest of the team. Chris, she was also very busy with preparing for the conference, and Pavel and Eric, who were here too. Thank you very much, and please stay for I think all these people will be staying also for answering some more questions. Thank you very much. Good night.